Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and during the month of April, I read poetry aloud. I read poetry aloud actually all the year, but I sort of record it during April in celebration of National Poetry Month. This April of 2017, I've been reading speeches and monologues from Shakespeare's plays. So today, I'll be reading the opening monologue from Richard III. Richard III is one of Shakespeare's great villain characters. Historically, the real Richard III actually was probably an okay king, doing, I guess, the best that he could. But the Tudors who took over from Richard had to make him a villain. And Thomas More, the saint, wrote a life of Richard in which he cast him sort of as a villain. And Shakespeare's play is largely based on that caricature of Richard as this conniving villain. So in this opening monologue, he is talking about the fact that the Yorkists, he's a member of the House of York, have won their war with the House of Lancaster. His brother Edward is now Edward IV, and he is, of course, going to sort of plot to take over. And here he's contrasting the fact that he was this great help during war, that he was sort of built for war, that his heart was built for war. But now in peacetime, it's all about being a good dancer and the like. But he is a hunchback and is unable to do that. So he's going to be what he's going to be. This is somewhat like Edmund's speech in King Lear. Edmund is the bastard son of Gloucester in that play, and because this is my makeup, this is the way I am, I'm going to play that part. And Richard it has the same sort of attitude. Okay, so this is the opening speech. It's actually a monologue because there's no one else on the stage with Richard, from Richard III. Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now instead of mounting barded steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them, why I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on my own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. So this is Richard's monologue from the very beginning of the play Richard III.